Hitchcock also scolds us a little bit for watching, which is that Jeffries has enjoyed watching this whole murder situation across the way, but they're so interested in it that they neglect Miss Lonely Hearts, who just about commits suicide. Like they even see that she's taking a bunch of sleeping pills, she's had a bad date, she sits down to like write a suicide note, and they think she's fine because they don't realize it's a suicide note. And then she's saved by the neighbors' music. They don't actually save her, but like that's lucky that the neighbors saved her because otherwise, what we're looking there's a hint in the movie that they're so focused on Thorwald and this fantasy world that they're missing this person over here, who is in actual real danger and they could save her life, but that's not sexy enough. That's not interesting enough for them. That's too sad. Hitchcock suggests that any one of these people, nobody's an extra. Everybody's the main character in the story that is their lives. And these people, even though Miss Lonely Hearts is not the biggest character in the film, she's a human being. And you could imagine a whole movie about her, a whole movie about Miss Torso, or right? These people are the little characters in the movie. Suggest they have the fact that Thorwald has such a complicated, interesting story, and that Jeffries does too. Um, that maybe everybody in the apartment complex has an interesting story if only you knew what it was. But they get sort of distracted by it, by Thorwald, and they don't save her. And, she gets saved by somebody else, so good, but they could have missed it, and they could have fucked up right there. It's a really dangerous moment. Um, there's something I there's something sort of silly about Thorwald bursting into Jeff's apartment at the end. Um, and Jeff defends himself, not with a gun, but with a flash from a camera that hurts his eyes. And that buys him time, so that when he does go out the window, people are out there and they realize what's going on and they can get over. It buys him enough time for people to get over to the apartment and help him. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably hoping he had a gun of some time and wanted him to have a better plan. It is a little bit silly that flash bulb in the eyes is what stops him, or slows him down enough. But it's a really important choice because of the theme. He could have had a gun and shot the guy with the gun, but that wouldn't have worked with all the symbols in the movie, because this movie is not about guns. This movie is about seeing. It's about watching other people. It's about seeing without being seen. And so what is the confrontation between Thorwald and Jeffrey at the end? Light hurts Thorwald's eyes so that he can't see well. That matches what the whole film has been about, which is sight and watching. It sort of fits into kind of the larger theme. And then at the end of the movie, once it's all over, it's really important to understand that solving the murder is not really what this movie's been about. It's nice, it's good. I mean, it was certainly an interesting part of the movie, but it's not what the movie fundamentally is about. Fundamentally, the movie's about Jeff and Lisa's relationship, and their relationship is saved at the end. Interestingly, it's not saved because Jeffrey's healed up and can have sex again and their sexual relationship is back. That's not what it is. In fact, hilariously, he has more broken bones than he started with because he fell out the window and injured himself again. So their sex life is even more on the fritz than it was. So if they hadn't had sex for 8 weeks, they're definitely looking at another 8 weeks before they can have sex again. But they're happy now. Why? Because through the course of the movie, this movie is fundamentally about Lisa and Jeff's relationship isn't working because he thinks she's not adventurous enough to be with him, and she wants him and doesn't know how to convince him that she's the right person. But when she goes over to Thorwald's apartment and gets in danger, and she's willing to take risks and climb staircases and, fight murderers and all this stuff, he realizes she's the person for him, and he loves her. And then at the end, there's this wonderful moment where she's reading this book about climbing the Himalayas and going on adventures to all the kind of places he likes to go. And then he's asleep. And she puts that down and picks up the fashion magazine and the movie's over. It's a wonderful ending, because it's not a movie about how she learns dresses and makeup and girly things are stupid, and she should change herself for a man. It's not about that. That's one reason in 1950s, in the modern day movies are like that. So many movies. But in this one, there's something really wonderful about the fact that what she does here is, it's not that she learns that that her fashion world is stupid or empty. It's that her fashion world is great. It's come in handy. Her knowledge helped her solve a murder. But also, she's interested in the Himalayas. Get you a girl that can do both. she does both. She's totally happy with her fashion magazines and her beauty, and her sort of fancy life, and she's also an adventure person, and she always was. She always was a cool person. She didn't learn to become a cool person in the movie. She was always cool. But he discovers this about her, which he didn't understand, which is how amazing she is, because she's not just a fashion girl, she's also an adventurer who's up for adventures. And that's the film, is that it's essentially saved. Um, their relationship is saved because it's not. Yeah, I don't know why I'm still talking, and yet I've basically said everything I have to say. So yeah, that's it. So he's found the right person. He's learned that the whole story. It's a story of a guy who learns that the beautiful girl in front of him, is even better than she looks. She's not just a beautiful girl. She's also an awesome adventurer who understands his sexual life, and his fantasy world and his whole thing. And she's able to kind of join him on this adventure. And that was Rear Window. Thank you for joining me and making it through these insane 11 videos. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take to talk about it. I don't know how long these videos are going to be, but we'll find out. Okay, cool. And I will see you guys next time.